T9C got the fucking juice.
Silver's the new gold.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the JT Sports Podcast. I'm your host, JT. Tonight, I'm joined with a special guest. We got my guy, Juan Gotti, talking sports. We're going to be recapping the crazy Jaguars-Bengals game, thoughts on Trevor Lawrence injuries, the impact that is going to have on the Jags' playoff hopes and the rest of the AFC South. You know, he's a Commanders fan, so we got to talk about Tyreek Hill, who was talking spicy after the game, said that he felt disrespected about what y'all defense decided to do to him. Contenders, pretenders, are teams like the Dolphins and Cowboys legitimate Super Bowl contenders, or are they pretenders? You know, after Thanksgiving, that's when the real football season begins. That's when the pretenders start to separate themselves for the teams that aren't that legit. So there's a lot of things that we're going to get into. Welcome to the JT Sports Podcast. My guy Juan Gotti talking sports. Make sure that you guys check him out. YouTube channel is Juan Gotti talking sports. Link will be down in the description, comment section down below.
What's going on, JT? I appreciate you for having me on tonight, man. I greatly appreciate it. And yeah, I'm definitely excited to talk not only about my Commanders, but also the game that we just finished watching between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, who would have thought that we would have got a game like that from two backup quarterbacks? Obviously, Trevor Lawrence going out in that game, and CJ Beathard having to come in and it going into overtime. It was crazy. And I appreciate you for having me on. I'm excited to join your show and talk a lot about the ball.
Absolutely, man. So let's get into it. This was a really weird game. The Bengals take down the Jags 34-31. Trevor Lawrence got injured. Jake Browning was looking like the second coming of Joe Burrow. Like, you ever went to Walmart and you see the Fruit Loops, and then right next to it, you got the great value Walmart Fruit Loops?
Yeah,
Jake Browning, he looks like the great value Joe Burrow. Like, he was out there dishing. And the Jaguars defense, I've been saying this for a very long time, that they're not championship level. And I was really not surprised that the Bengals came and won this game. So it's just, you look at how well Jay Browning played, and Trevor Lawrence kept them in this game, and then unfortunately he got injured. And he has a high ankle sprain, so he's going to miss some time.
Yeah, I mean, you looked at the game and you pretty much thought, okay, easy game for Jacksonville. They're at home. They're going to take sole place of first place in the AFC conference after the loss that the Kansas City Chiefs suffered last night on Sunday Night Football. You just thought it was going to be cake. But early on, I'll be honest with you, I kind of even with Trevor Lawrence in there, I said, oh, okay, hey, Jake Brown, he's kind of rubbing off on me a little bit. Joe Burrow, probably helping him out, and this kid seems like he can play a little bit. And then what do we find out later? He continues to play. He fought through the boneheaded coaching mistakes from Zach Taylor, and still was able to find a way to get the victory done. And as far as the Jacksonville Jaguars defense goes, um, really outside of Josh Allen, I mean, Cisco went down today. Tyson Campbell got burnt. I believe it was Tyson Campbell by Jamar Chase 1-on-1 down a side. Like their defense is definitely subpar. It's not that good. And that could be a big reason as to why they are going to be out of the playoffs very soon. As far as when they get there, and then as you mentioned, Trevor Lawrence
That's
going down
if they get there.
that's if they get there now with Trevor Lawrence
Whew.
going down to ankle sprain. Because I mean, like we talked prior to coming on air, uh, teams like Houston and Indianapolis all of a sudden are looking at their chops like, hey, not only can we get one of these wild card spots, we can win a division with no Trevor Lawrence for a couple of weeks probably. And it sucks, and I know you're pissed off about it. Tank Dell, man, and what an opportunity it would have been for the Houston Texans if he was healthy. Now I think they're still gonna be able to get it done because CJ Stroud is just that good. And going back to my week one prediction, I said that they were going to have an amazing season. Don't sleep on them. They still are in prime position, and they already beat Jacksonville one time this year. So it's a lot of suddenly the AFC South has become interesting as a whole division.
Yeah, and you know, CJ Beathard, he didn't play bad. He put them in position to go to overtime, win the game. It's just Cincinnati, we thought they were down and out when they lost to Joe Burrow, when they lost Joe Burrow against the Ravens. But with the way Jay Browning has played and the talent that he has at wide receiver, he should be good enough to where they should be in contention. Now, I don't know what that means, but I just believe that contention means that maybe they can kind of pull off a couple of upsets down the stretch, win some games like tonight where things are a little bit weird and they can capitalize off of misfortune and then get into the playoffs that way. But let's talk about your Washington Commanders. So you guys got blown out and embarrassed by the Dolphins. And Tyreek Hill, he was talking spicy after the game. He said that y'all defense, Ron Rivera took over the play calling, by the way. He fired John Del Rio and said that y'all disrespected him, playing man coverage on him. What's your thoughts on this?
What my thoughts on this is it's no surprise. I mean, if you watched our season all year long, you've known that this defense has been abysmal. Coached by Jack Del Rio, coached by Ron Rivera, coached by whoever, this defense has been abysmal. And we're just as Washington fans ready for change, man. Tyreek Hill saying that is not surprising, and he's just glorifying that this team has no identity and we need change. Like their linebacker, he came out and said it just seems like their offensive scheme is lacking. They don't have no scheme. It just seems like they're putting Sam Howell out there to dry just to do everything by himself. So again, this team has no identity. We're just ready for a fresh start, and we're ready to embark on a full rebuild. Whether that's including on trading guys like Jonathan Allen, who had something to say to the media today. Unfortunately, Terry McLaurin, who in my opinion is still really good, but getting up there in age, like we're just ready to embark on our new rebuild. This season bottomed out, and before the season started, you couldn't have told me that this was going to be the outcome if we had Sam Howell at quarterback and Eric Bieniemy, who was supposed to be this offensive guru, who absolutely is trash. So man, this season's been
Man,
rough.
it will never. I can't get over it. My bad for cutting you off, but Thanksgiving against the Dallas Cowboys, they were like 3 or 4, 3rd-and-1, 4th-and-1, and this fool refuses to call the QB sneak, and I couldn't get over it because listen, everybody else is running it. Why can't you run it? Everybody has their own version of the brotherly shove. So it made no sense to me why he just wouldn't go ahead and use Sam Howell because he already had a rushing touchdown before that when he plowed through like 2 Cowboy defenders in the red zone. So I don't get why you just don't run the QB sneak. Like, Airbnb is a fraud, fam. Like, just be honest about it. You know, people in the media tried to push this agenda about him, but there's a reason why he has so many failed head coaching interviews. Like, his interviews taking damn near a whole business day. You feel me? It's just, some people are just good coordinators. You know, like,
I definitely agree with you, man. And trust me, man. As a Washington Commanders fan, that again, that's just what our season's been. All right, like fourth and one, third and one. This guy just doesn't get it. Situational awareness is what he lacks, and that's the same issue we had with Scott Turner. But even with Scott Turner, at least he fixed his issues sometimes, right? Terry McLaurin would have never gone consecutive weeks without getting at least 8 targets. Like if there's one week where Terry McLaurin has 2 targets under Scott Turner, you can guarantee the next week he's gonna have at least 8 to 9 targets. This man, Eric Bieniemy, treats Terry McLaurin as if he's just a Joe Schmo. He's a scheme guy, and in this day and age, scheme does not work when you have players that are much better than what your scheme can ever do. Right? Your scheme is my scheme this, my scheme that. It's scheming whoever's open, throwing whoever's open. I mean, bro, it's games where Byron Pringle has more targets than Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin has been fizzled out of this offense, and I'm heavily still using him. But it's other players too. But I'm using him so heavily because he's our best offensive weapon, and we're not using this man, right? And I feel so bad for him to the point where I'm like, bro, you might as well, you're not gonna use him, get trade him or something, bro, because he deserves to go somewhere where he can win. Kansas City, other teams where Terry McLaurin would absolutely shine. This man, Eric Bieniemy, just doesn't get it. And as you mentioned,
the defense, man, that Rivera takes over the play calling, and you playing man coverage on Tyreek Hill, and it's bad enough, bro. Y'all picked Emmanuel Forbes over Christian Gonzalez, dog, and he got benched like the first 5 games. AJ Brown made this man cry. Like, oh, wow, and you got Magic Johnson calling out the team's performance, like apologizing for getting it blown out. It's just, did you know the Thanksgiving game was had like 58 million views? Like one of the most streamed like games ever, and it's just, when is there going to be some change, Juan Gotti? Like, why is Ron Rivera allowed to continue to go on throughout this season? Like, we might as well see what Airbnb can do. Like, why not? I mean, things can't get any worse.
So we're going to be having changes this offseason. We already had the biggest change as they completed the previous offseason with obviously new ownership. But as far as a new regime coming in, we're going to have that this offseason. We're not going to see Eric Bieniemy take over the interim head coach because I don't know if you've been paying attention, but there have been players that have quote unquote like what's the word I'm looking for? They have kind of endorsed that they do not want Eric Bieniemy here as a coach, and his job that he's done here as far as on the field has kind of backed that up. Like he doesn't deserve to be a head coach. And again, what I was about to point to was that we're starting to see why he got so many head coaching interviews and nobody wanted him. We got to see who truly was in charge in Kansas City. We already know it was Andy Reid, but we got to see for ourselves now that Eric Bieniemy had his own gig what Andy Reid really was doing. Andy Reid really ran this thing, man, and we're really seeing that because he is again just doesn't get it, lacks situational awareness, and that's the biggest thing. I don't know how else to say it besides he just doesn't get it, and you just have to watch for yourself to understand where I'm coming from, man. It's painful as a fan of this team because he was our last hope. We were already done with Ron Rivera. We were already done with Ron Rivera, to be honest with you, last season, but we were hoping that Eric Bieniemy was going to be the savior, and he was worse.
And you would think that the defense took a major step back. Like, the defense at least was always really good, top 10.
JT, I'll be honest with you, man. That defense was overrated. Truthfully be told, Chase Young, dare I say it, trash, bro. He's trash. I mean, look what he's doing to the 49ers. He's a glorified run stuffer, bro. Bro, the man, and I'm not even trying to bash him or whatever, because I still got 2 of his jerseys. I was hoping that it panned out. But truth be told, and a lot of 49ers fans are starting to realize this, he's not good, bro. Like he got bottled up. He 0 stats yesterday. You know what I'm saying? So Chase Young, not really good. They live up to the hype. Still wish him the best. Hopefully, he turn his career around, but didn't live up to the hype. Montez Sweat, much better. And I think in Chicago, he's going to be a big piece of what they have moving forward. Much better. Still probably not worth the $25 million that he got, but he's much better, right? Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, they are severely, I would say, severely overrated at this point. More so Jonathan Allen than Deron Payne. But these guys, they've been non-existent this year, and it's very unfortunate because when you have invested not only so much into that defensive line, but so much into that defense. I mean, we got so many first-round picks on that defense. You would have thought it would have been much better, but when you combine a terrible scheme on defense, a defensive coordinator that doesn't adjust with these players that they have reached on and aren't producing, you're set up for failure, bro. And that's just where it is. And it sucks because we spent the last 4 years hoping to where now we're to the point we're back to level zero and we have to now restart another potential 4 year rebuild. Hopefully not, but it just sucks where we're at right now, to be honest with you.
Tyreek Hill, man, he's just exposing what we already knew about the Commanders all along, man. It's tough, but contenders, pretenders, let's start that over, man. Contenders, pretenders. You know, there are some teams like the Miami Dolphins and Dallas Cowboys who look really hot right now. But are they good enough to make it to the end where they're hosting up the Lombardi Trophy? Because I don't know. I'm higher on the Philadelphia Eagles than most people, although they went kind of ugly. You know, in the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs, I never was that big on them. I feel they're a really big pretender. Like, I just think that everybody kind of just swallows the Chiefs because of Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, but that's all they have. And Travis Kelce, like, I don't know if you peeped this, but do you think he's regressed, bro? Because I think he's definitely declined this year.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see where you're coming from. Travis Kelsey has not looked like Travis Kelsey. And there were rumors about him potentially retiring after this season. And yeah, he definitely. Wouldn't say he. I don't know if I would say he's regressed to the point where maybe his career is done, or maybe he's just having a down year, or maybe he's just hurt, bro. Like he definitely was hurt to start the year, and he just, you know, looks like he's getting older. Like, and I know that sucks to say because he's so good and arguably would go down as one of the best tight ends to ever play this game. But that's just the name of the game. You're gonna get older. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, he's definitely slowed down and he's having a down year. I can totally agree with you on that, and that's a big reason why the Chiefs may not end up where they want to be because no weaponry. All right, you didn't go out to get a wide receiver at the deadline. You're hoping so much into Travis Kelsey, even though his body could be breaking down on him after so many great years. And you just basically hoping Patrick Mahomes can do whatever, do it all, and he can't throw it and catch it. You know what I'm saying? So that definitely is the case. I definitely feel that that Travis Kelsey is kind of breaking down, but I don't know if I'm ready to say he's regressed. Maybe just this season, but who knows? Maybe he can get together next year if he
How you
finds.
feel about how do you feel about Dallas? Like, me personally, like, I can never take Dallas seriously. You know, I respect them.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that they could possibly win it. But they're just one of those teams that you just got to show me, bro. Like, I wouldn't bet money on you. I wouldn't pick you to win. You probably most likely will annihilate a team that is from the NFC South because that's the conference of mid. But outside of that, like, I could have seen them beating the 49ers. You know, and I don't care about what they do in the regular season, Juan Gotti. Playoff football and regular season football are two different things. And we've seen the Dallas Cowboys have the talent to go the distance in the past. And they go in the playoffs. They beat up on old man Tom Brady. That was cool. And then after that, they got crushed by the 49ers. The 49ers have been their kryptonite. I don't know if you believe that Dallas is a legit contender, but they're a pretender until they prove otherwise to me. Like, they just got to show me. You got to earn that.
Yeah, I mean you're not wrong with that assessment. They always have really good regular season success. I even said today that I personally think Dak Prescott is the front runner for league MVP. Brock Purdy's not far behind. It's like neck and neck right now. But at the end of the day, that is a regular season award. That is not going to mean anything to get to the postseason. When they get to the postseason, I don't know if they're going to be able to get past the 49ers. I think they'll easily get past the first round, whoever they play. The second round, I could definitely they took Philly to the brink, the first time. And this Sunday is for first place in the division, and I think Dallas is gonna win it. So they could very well win the division. Um, so they could be set up for success. However, I do agree. I don't see them getting past the 49ers in the NFC Championship, but they very well could, even if they host, uh, even if they host the playoff game versus Philly, because I think it's going to go Dallas, whoever they play in the NFC South, if they get the wild card. You know what I'm saying? Because if they that's right, they get the division, then they probably whoever honestly in that wild card back, whoever gets it, whether it's Minnesota, Seattle, and Rams, whoever, they're going to beat them in the first round. Second round, I think it's gonna be probably they're gonna probably end up matching up with Philly or whatever, maybe. Um, and I think the NFC Championship might be Dallas and 49ers. I hate to say that, and I hope I'm wrong, but either way, NFC East teams might be in the NFC
How
Championship.
you feel about Detroit?
I think Detroit is a little young. I think they'll probably get out of the first round, but I think they're a little young. I think this is their first year really getting things going, spelling some postseason success because I think they're going to win the first round potentially.
Would you call
So
them a pretender as far as them being able to win the Super Bowl, or do you think they're legit? So
uh,
right now, who would you label as legit teams in the NFC that are legitimate contenders, and who would you label as pretenders?
I think they're I think it's probably two teams. I think it's the Eagles and the 49ers as contenders. Everyone knows. And the reason why I said the Cowboys are pretenders is because same reason you're kind of concerned about them is that I know they're going to have a good regular season. It's about when they get to the postseason. Are they going to finally get over that hump? I don't know if they're going to be able to get past the 49ers. Maybe they're tired of getting beat up by the 49ers, but the 49ers are tired of being one game away from the NFC Championship. I mean, from the Super Bowl. So I don't know if they get past. So right now, I think I'm gonna have to go contenders. I mean, pretenders for them. The Lions, I think the Lions are good. I think they're a young team, though, and yeah, they're led by Jared Goff, who's been to the Super Bowl. So they could very well be contenders, but I just think they're 1 year early. I think they're going to win their first game, and I think they might lose. Even if they get to the NFC Championship, I don't see them beating the 49ers. I don't see them being Philly, and they got Dallas coming up here shortly, so they very well could be Dallas. So I think honestly, JT, and this sounds crazy. I think it's just two teams and contenders. I mean, yeah, it's two teams. I was gonna say maybe Green Bay, but I think they're too young. They're turning it around, but two teams for me, man, Philly and 49ers.
The AFC is just the injury to Trevor Lawrence is devastating. And I never took Jacksonville serious as a contender anyway. They were always a pretender in my eye. I felt like they're 1 year off. Trayvon Walker, he's a bust. They should have drafted Aiden Hutchinson. Like the whole argument about these potential prospects that have a lot of athletic upside, but they're really raw when it comes to technique and fundamentals. It's just you can never sell me on that. If I'm investing a first round pick on you, I need for you to produce right away, right? And the reason why having an impactful pass rusher is so important is because when you get into the playoffs, you're going against some of the best offensive lines in the NFL. And the majority of teams that make it far in the playoffs have good offensive lines. And you need to be able to get these quarterbacks off the field. And without having that additional pass rusher outside of Josh Allen, you're lacking that big championship component. And the Jaguars, to me, even when Trevor Lawrence was healthy, he's really inconsistent. I still don't think that he's lived up to his full potential yet. He hasn't played at the MVP level to me, but with this injury, it definitely opens the door for Houston. But Jacksonville, to me, looks to be a pretender. The Ravens, I really believe this is the year Lamar gets someone. I like him to win the AFC this year. Like they're the runaway best team in this conference to me. I think they're legit contenders.
Yeah, I piggyback on you with that, man. This is the Ravens year. I mean, the path is set out for them. Um, if they don't win the Super Bowl, not win the Super Bowl, sorry, if they do not get to the AFC Championship and potentially the Super Bowl, I don't know if there's ever going to be a time for them. It's literally laid out for them, man. No Trevor Lawrence to really be a threat for the foreseeable future. No Aaron Rodgers, obviously. The Chiefs are struggling with no offensive help, right? The only threat that you could potentially say for them to be in their way is maybe the Dolphins. But as you mentioned earlier, you're really not that big on Miami. So this is their year, bro. If they do not get to the AFC Championship and win, I don't know if they're ever going to be able to do it. Like it's so open for them right now for the Baltimore Ravens. It's kind of like you have to get this done at this point because if they don't, again, as I mentioned before, I don't know if they ever going to have an opportunity like this presented to them. Basically, kind of giving them the AFC Championship appearance because I mean, there's nobody in the AFC with the injuries to Deshaun Watson, with the injury to Kenny Pickett now, like their offense is struggling, like they are already, but got better since firing Matt Canada. Like the only threat that could be were the Bills, were the Bengals, and those teams may not get into the playoffs because one, Joe Burrow's not playing for Cincinnati, and the Bills aren't playing good defensively. So it's just like there's no AFC threat really to stop the Ravens besides the Dolphins, and I think the Ravens could take the Dolphins. To be honest with you, so yeah, like I said before, this if they don't do it this year, I don't know if they're gonna ever do it.
Yeah, in Kansas City, it's just they don't. I'm not counting them out. It's just I'm just not under this whole presumption that because you got Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Travis Kelsey, just fuck everything else, you'll figure it out. Like the rest of the quarterbacks are, I'm not going to say they're just as good as Mahomes, but they're not too far off. Like Lamar Jackson is definitely good enough that given with the right situation, if he goes out there and plays at his best level, they could knock off Kansas City on the road. You feel me? And Joe Burrow has did the same thing. And the Ravens, truthfully, have like the most complete team in the AFC. And the Dolphins is just they can't win big games. It's just it's been proven time in and time out. They lost to the Eagles. Like they got smacked around a couple of years ago on Monday night or Sunday night against the Chargers. It's just they're just not good against teams that have good quarterbacks or like playoff talent. So overall, what are the teams that you think have the best shot to make it to the Super Bowl, at least right now?
For both conferences or just one?
Overall, like, give me your top two teams for both conferences that have the best shot, who are the most legit.
NFC, and just before 49ers and Eagles are my only teams that I think have a legit chance to get to the Super Bowl. You can say that they're touring lines, but it's just hard for me to think that they're going to make it to the Super Bowl in their first year of really getting things going. Last year was a boost towards the end of the season and almost made it to the playoffs, but this is their first playoff appearance in what, like 40, 30 years? Like, it's been wow. So it's just hard for me to think that they're just going to go right. And they could. They very well could. Because what did Cincinnati? Didn't Cincinnati go right to the Super Bowl their first playoff year? So potentially, I think, yeah, their first playoff year. But they had Joe Burrow. Jared Goff is not Joe Burrow. But I could see the Lions get to the divisional round, losing a heartbreaker, and then next year going all the way. This year, NFC, I think it's just 49ers and Eagles. AFC wise, Ravens, you can't really never count out Kansas City. Um, you gotta say the Dolphins, but with similar with you, I just think when they play a competent team that can really match their personnel, um, I don't know if they're really ready for that kind of smoke. I don't know, man. It's tough. Like I don't want to count on Buffalo, even though they're 10th seed. I think the Browns are going to fall off with their quarterback issue, so I don't see them making the playoffs no more. But if they would have made the playoffs defensively, they defensively they probably would have been able to carry their team to potentially the AFC Championship. But no quarterback to steer the ship. I think Buffalo may find a way to get back in that eighth hole, that seventh hole, and if they do, they could make a run as a seventh seed. But right now, I think it's a three-man race in the AFC and a two-man race in the NFC. Dolphins, Ravens, Chiefs in the AFC, and 49ers and Eagles in NFC for a Super Bowl appearance.
Roger Goodell isn't a fan of the brotherly shove, and the Philadelphia Eagles, this play that has been used by the majority of teams in the league. Many people are split on it. Some people want it to be banned. Other people say otherwise. It's just stop trying to make the game soft. Where do you lie on that side of the argument when it comes to this tush push?
So where I'm at when it comes to tush push, I don't think it should be banned. I think the Eagles found a way to bring a play to the NFL, and they're just really good at it. Teams are very frustrated because it's an easy play, but why not just do it? Why not? How about you steal it from them? How about you do it? How about you find a way to stop it? Nothing in this world is unbeatable or whatever. You can find a way to stop something at some point. So I think if they allow this play to continue to go on years upon years from now, some defensive coordinator is going to find a way to stop this thing. You know what I'm saying? And again, even if they don't, the Eagles, we got to give them credit. They found a way to make a play to the league that nobody else was doing, and
Yeah.
they did it, and they're very well good at it. So they're. I don't think you should ban it. I think it's a good play for them. I think you should just steal it. All 31 other teams should just steal it, right? And find a way to stop it. If it's bugging you that bad, you'll find a way to stop it, right? And then
If they ban this,
yeah,
the NFL soft. You feel me? It's like at this point you can't play defense no more. And I'm not one of those people. Like, I had a coach that used to play for the Chicago Bears back in the 80s and 90s with Dick Buckets and whatnot. And he used to talk about how, like, anytime we got equipment, he was like, man, y'all lucky because back when I played, like, we didn't have all this padding in the helmets. We had headache boxes. We were playing with concussions. It's like, okay, like, I don't know what's so great about bragging about walking around playing with CTE, but you could play back then. You could hit. And it's just like now it's just you want to ban the tush push. You want to make it easier for these quarterbacks to get easy flags. Like we complain about the officiating, right? But at the same time, like we have so many problems with the rules. It's just, what is pass interference truly? You feel me? What is a catch? What is roughing the passer, Juan Gotti? It's just Roger Goodell wants to ban the tush push because it's too dominant, but we got so many pressing issues that need resolutions. You feel me? It's just, I'm tired of them trying to say that, the game needs to be a little bit more watered down. It's fucking football, Juan Gotti. Like, I'm sorry. Like, people get injured. It's a gladiator sport. You got to be crazy as hell to be going out there for 60 minutes, running around with some pads on, trying to knock somebody to oblivion. You feel me? It's like, at this point, let the brothers play two-hand touch if you want to ban the tush push. I'm getting, like, I kind of agree with Tom Brady. The league has gotten soft. I miss when people like Ray Lewis, like if Ray Lewis played in this generation, fam, I believe he will be screwed because you can't hit no more. You feel me? So it's just, if Roger Goodell bans the tush push, I'm going to be pissed off because it's like you continue to water down this product. That's why the defenses suck. It's just, I'm fed up with banning stuff and trying to make this more player safety, improve the equipment. But stop trying to water down the quality of an already violent sport.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, man. This is a game that we've known to come and love because of physicality, and they're trying to downright get rid of it. I mean, we got called for egregious roughing the passer versus the Patriots, KJ Henry, and I'm just like, that's crazy. What do you want him to do? Right? There's so many plays where that Kansas City Chiefs game yesterday, Patrick Mahomes was clearly in bounds, and they called a foul on that play. Like it's so many instances that we see week in and week out that's just super bad that these refs call, and it's softening the league and the game that we came to know and love again. And Ray Lewis, as you mentioned, would not have survived in this day and age because he was a monster. He would be getting fined every week. We think Kareem Jackson has it bad. Ray Lewis would have had it worse. He would have never seen a paycheck with how hard he hits these guys. So it definitely sucks that the league is watering down physicality, but maybe one day Roger Goodell get out of there and we can get a different commissioner up in here. You know what I'm saying?
He's not a bad commissioner in terms of like the NFL is as popular as it's ever been. It's just I don't like how they continue to water down the violent sport. Make it safe. But stop trying to water down the product within the rules. It's just you got these targeting penalties. It's just that's why it's so hard to officiate. Because when you're playing in the NFL, everything is a blur. And these refs are humans. Of course, they're going to make mistakes. Now, sometimes I do feel like the fix be in for some of these teams like the Eagles, the Chiefs. You feel me? But for the most part, it's just, if we're going to get mad at the referees, we got to get mad for having holes in the rule books that make the line so difficult to determine what are some of these penalties. You feel me? Because a lot of these penalties are subjective. And when you allow things up to subjectivity, you're going to have inconsistencies. And you just want to ban the tush push. Like, fuck that, man. Like, I'm tired of the NFL getting soft. Like, let these boys play. Let them hit. You feel me?
Yeah, definitely. I do. Again, like I said before, this game is built off of physicality, and they're just simply trying to get rid of it. And that's why a lot of people are starting to tune out to it. I'm not going to do it because I love it too much, but I definitely see where a lot of people are coming from.
Everybody, if you haven't already, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Remember that every episode of the podcast is available in audio format on all podcasting platforms, Apple, Google, Spotify. And check out our guy, Juan Gotti, talking sports real quick. Let everybody know where they can find you at, what you got planned for the channel over the next couple of weeks.
Yes, definitely. I appreciate you having me on again, JT. You can find all of my work on YouTube at Juan Gotti Talking Sports, where we talk about the Washington Commanders and the NFL as a whole entire league. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Juan Gotti Talking Sports. Appreciate you having me on again, JT, and I look forward for all the new people to come check my channel out and give it a chance. And I thank you in advance for doing so.
Man, I'm having a really good time tonight, man. I wish I was able to cook up some more topics, man, but Eagles Cowboys, this is a game that is really huge. It's just, if Philadelphia loses, the Cowboys are now in control of the 1 seed. And if they get the 1 seed, you give the Cowboys home field advantage throughout the postseason. They only got to win one game to get to the conference championship, right? And then you win the conference championship and you're in the Super Bowl. And they got the talent to do so. And Dak Prescott has been playing his best football. Meanwhile, the Philadelphia Eagles, they're a better version of what the Minnesota Vikings were last season. You feel me? It's just, they don't play good football for the first 3 quarters, and then they show up in the 4th quarter, but obviously they weren't able to do that against the 49ers. The 49ers are just such a great team, but, the Eagles, do you think they're coming into this game with a sense of desperation, with a lot of urgency, when you think about how well Dallas has played over the last couple of weeks?
Desperation, no. Because this still is one of the best teams in the NFL, so I don't think they're desperate. I think they're still in control of their own destiny, as we talked about before. As far as urgency though, yeah, because they know how big this game is. This game is practically for the division, right? So they know what they have ahead of them. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think they're desperate, but I do definitely think they're moving with a sense of urgency, considering the fact of the magnitude of this game going into Dallas, having to beat them. Took them to the limit the first game at home. The Eagles are still in control of their own destiny. And they're still that's one thing again as Eagles fans that out there. I understand your team is really good. You're not used to losing, but I think they tend to overreact after one loss. Even if this team falls to 10-3 after this game, if they do in fact lose, they'll be totally fine. If they have to go on a road and beat the Cowboys in the playoffs, or go on a road as a wild card team to face whoever, you still are good enough to go into somebody else's building and beat them, right? Yes, of course, it's great to have the home field advantage, but tough nose, man. It happens. It happens. You didn't get it done in the regular season, but who cares? They still gonna have an opportunity to get it done in the postseason. So, to my opinion, I think they're not desperate, but they definitely know how big this game is in Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, and when you look at this game matchup-wise, we know that Philadelphia took the first game, but Dallas outplayed them for the majority of that game, and Dak Prescott looked better than Jalen Hurts. It's just, he steps out on that 2-point conversion. It's just, in big game situations, the Cowboys, they have certain mess ups. They almost lost it against Seattle. But then you look at how they played against good teams. Seattle was their best performance against a team above 500. They got blasted by the 49ers. Oh my goodness. Like, I forget that embarrassment. You feel me? And against Philadelphia, it's one loss. They only got 2 losses, and we make it seem like the world is falling. This is still a really good football team, but it's hard for me to overlook the fact that their secondary has been struggling. And the Dallas Cowboys passing attack, that thing looks legit. And you have Dak Prescott as the leading candidate for the MVP right now. So I think against this secondary, like, he should carve that motherfucker up. You feel me? It's just you trade for Kevin Byard. Like, he got 1 interception against Kansas City, but it's like, they're kind of hanging on by a thread. Like, Darius Slay and James Bradbury, like, they're still good, but they kind of done lost a little bit of a step. Like James Bradbury got worked by Rashee Rice, and then they posted it on the NFL Instagram channel. He's trying to show sportsmanship. Like fam, you getting worked, bro. Like, who and CeeDee Lamb? Ever since Richard Sherman disrespected him, oh my goodness, like, this dude has turned into a monster, an absolute monster. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, I think Philadelphia, their defense, bro, it's going to be a tough afternoon for these boys against Dak Prescott. It really is.
You looked at the first game, he carved them up, took them to the limit. Just, again, two-point conversion away from potentially winning that game, right? So their offense isn't the issue for me. And defensively, they're still really good. Defensively, it's just going to come down to who's going to be able to get a stop when it matters most. Because I think both teams are high-scoring offenses, as we've seen before. So again, it's just going to be who can get that key stop in the key moment. Because I think this thing is going to go to the limit. To be honest with you.
Yeah, man. So for your prediction for this game, who are you taking? I like Dallas. I don't think that they go 0-2 to Philly.
Yeah, I wish my team was in this big of a game because I hate both of these teams. I wish my team was in one of these. But yeah, I got Dallas winning this game, man. I think they're super hot. They're definitely licking their chops. They're definitely licking their wounds. They're definitely pissed off about the first loss. They didn't let that go. So I think I got Philly. Got Dallas. They're at home too. That matters a lot. So yeah, I think Dallas is gonna get this done.
The Philadelphia Eagles signed Shaq Leonard. He was a former All-Pro, and their linebacker unit, they're hanging on by a thread. Oh my goodness, like the 49ers, they went to work. Oh my God, it's just Shaq Leonard. I don't know what the hell happened to this dude. He used to be arguably the best linebacker in the NFL, then out of nowhere, like, he randomly just fell off. So you bring him into this situation with the Philadelphia Eagles, like, hopefully he could get back to that level that he used to be. It can be a good comeback story because they need it. They desperately need it.
Yeah, definitely. Shaq Leonard, one of the best linebackers ever. But injuries happen. Not ever. I'm sorry to say that, but ever in Colts um, franchise. But he was on the pace to potentially be one of the best linebackers ever, actually. So injuries, it kind of got to him, and it sucks because the guy was amazing. Um, don't know if he'll ever be the same, but again, the Eagles, every time there's a big free agent, they always end up signing him. So this doesn't surprise me at all, man.
And he picked them over the Cowboys.
Yeah, he picked them over the Cowboys. I don't know if it was more so of a better opportunity, better playing time, maybe. Who knows? But he picked the Eagles. Maybe he knows that the Cowboys are gonna choke in the playoffs, man. Maybe you know what I'm saying. That's probably why he picked the Eagles. But I think this is I don't really know what to say because before he was with the Colts, he was kind of slowing down, not really the old Shaq Leonard. So it's hard for me to be like, oh, it's gonna be a big addition to the Eagles when I really don't know what to expect from him. I don't know how much his workload is gonna be his first game. Maybe they gotta work him in. I don't really know what to expect, but it definitely is gonna be potentially an upgrade over what they have now.
All right, now I want to talk to you about this. Okay, what's your thoughts on the men in cast because I honestly think that the Manning cast is the only way to watch Monday Night Football. No offense to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, but I mean, Peyton Manning, he had Tua Tagovailoa on there tonight, and it was a really pleasant watch. But then he started grilling Tua on like protections and hot routes and things like that, and then the interactions that he has with Eli Manning talking about his haircut, like. I love the Manning cast. How do you feel about it? How often do you watch it?
Truth be told, I don't watch it at all. And that's because I never really cared to watch it. I mean, I saw it sometimes. I maybe flipped to it here and there, but I'd rather just hear the real game audio more so than them guys over there. I mean, I see the clips online. It's cool to have them on there, and I love to see them getting still being relevant, spending more time with each other as brothers, and I love it. I don't hate it, but me personally, I just don't tune into it because I'd rather just watch the real game audio. You feel me? I can tolerate Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. I know a lot of people can't, but I can't.
Yeah, man. Now, something that really has been getting on. Have you kept up with the college football playoff rankings?
Yeah, definitely. I saw that. I saw that.
And it's just, let me know if I'm tripping, but I don't think Florida State deserved to get in. When you lose your best quarterback, when you lose your quarterback, right? It's the most important position in football. And when you lose a guy on the caliber of Jordan Travis level, and you just look at the random dude that they had playing against Louisville, Tate Rodemaker didn't really look good against Florida, you don't deserve to get in over Alabama. And look, they went undefeated. I understand the argument. But Alabama had a way tougher schedule. Like, they beat Ole Miss. You feel me? People overlook how good Ole Miss has been this year. And they beat the number one team in college football in Georgia. They was on a 29-game win streak. Like, they were clobbering everybody. So it's just like, I understand why they feel screwed. But it's just, I don't know, bro. Like, it's a cold world.
For me personally, I think a lot of people are looking too deep into it. It's one simple reason why Alabama got in over FSU, an undefeated team. Money, revenue. That's all they care about. It's a business at the end of the day, and they would much rather see Alabama versus Michigan than a backup led FSU, no Jordan Travis, than Michigan because they know that that's going to be a blowout or whatever, whoever they had to play, right? So it definitely it sucks for them because it's like they're undefeated. They definitely deserved to get in if they were healthy, but nobody wants to see that. As an FSU fan, I'll be pissed, obviously, but truth is to be told, this is where money rules everything at that point because they care about money more than they care about your program, Florida State. I'm sorry to tell you, you know what I'm saying, but that's just why I personally think uh, it's about the money, bro, more so than anything else.
Coach of the year, you look at the Indianapolis Colts. They've been the biggest surprise of the NFL. And Shane Steichen, he's coaching his tail off. But you look at the job that D'Amico Ryans has done with the Houston Texans, and you look at Darren Campbell with the Detroit Lions, I don't think Shane Steichen is a runaway winner for Coach of the Year.
Yeah, now if he finds a way to get the division, maybe. But you already, like you mentioned, you have some really good candidates. AFC South opponent, division rival, D'Amico Ryan, who, to me personally, I think has done a much more impressive job, than the Colts. The Colts have done really good too, but I'm just saying, I feel like the Colts were ahead of their rebuild. Maybe I'm tripping, but I feel like they had more talent than the Texans at the time before D'Amico Ryan took over. So I think it would probably it'll be him. Wouldn't mind it being Dan Campbell either because of the job that he's done. You can never count out Kyle Shanahan, right? With God, maybe even Nick Sirianni, but I think Coach of the Year typically goes to, or it should at least go to maybe the best team, but also the team that has been the most surprising. And I think for me, my vote would be D'Amico Ryan's.
Yeah, it's just what D'Amico Ryans has done has been nothing short of impressing.
Yeah.
It's just ZJ Stroud, like, Whew. I mean, this dude has been special. He's been a phenomenal. He's the third best quarterback in the league right now. To me, I'll take him over Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott. That may be high praise. Like some people may be like, "Oh, you're overrating him," but honestly, he's been consistent. Even when he's at his worst, he's still better than the majority of other quarterbacks out there.
Yeah, I mean, CJ Stroud has been absolutely amazing, man. And it sucks that Tank Dell's not going to be there because they were a team that, with how wide open this AFC was, I'm like, look, shoot, I know they may be a little year early, but they might mess around, make a deep playoff run. But no Tank Dell that kind of shoots them in the foot with that. No pun intended. But they still are a good team on the rise, and watch out for the Texans, man. CJ Stroud has absolutely been amazing and as average, man. Truth be told.
Now, how do you feel about the altercation that transpired between Dre Greenlaw and the head of the Philadelphia Eagles security? Because that was wild, bro. Like,
That was
what the fuck are you doing?
I don't get how the NFL is trying to punish a security, bro. It does not make sense to me at all. His job is literally to secure their sideline. So now Dre Greenlaw walks up and pokes him in the face, and now he's facing some type of punishment for doing his job. He's literally the security. What the heck is he supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? So they sent him and Dre Greenlaw to the. First of all, Dre Greenlaw put your hands in his face. He did the right thing. No grown man gonna let you put their hand in your face. You feel me? You would have had to see me, bro. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm there to do a job, and my job is to protect at the end of the day, right? So I totally don't understand what the NFL is doing. He literally just did his job, and that's protect the sideline. I don't know, man. That was just a wild situation, man. But look, I as a fan, I loved it. I loved it.
Now, it's just that, do you think it? I really don't know why he had to get ejected because with the way that these NFL games are, is damn near a fight every play, and the emotions were running high in this game. They were talking spicy before the game started, and even before you had the interaction with the Harris security, like he got a flag for giving Devonta Smith the belly to belly suplex, old school WWE style, like he was Jack Swagger or something. So it's just that I feel like the NFL was just doing a little bit too much about this situation. Like, let the boys play. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, this game has truthfully gotten soft. This is football. Like, back in the 90s, like, things used to be way worse. Not like, you don't want nobody going Miles Garrett and knocking somebody upside the head with their helmet. But it's like, like, I like this interaction. This is what makes football football. I think that they were being a little bit too anxious with the situation. No fun league.
Definitely, I definitely think that was the situation. Like Drake Greenlaw, I don't necessarily disagree with him being ejected. I personally wouldn't have did it. I probably would have just threw a flag or whatever. But ejected him, I personally would have did it. But I mean, if they did eject him, fine. But the head of security, bro, that's where I just that's crazy.
Yeah, man. Everybody, this is our guy, Juan Gotti talking sports. We appreciate it for you coming on tonight. Everybody, if you enjoyed this episode of the JT Sports Podcast, make sure that you go ahead, check us out. We're available on Apple, Google, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcast from. The JT Sports Podcast is available. And Juan Gotti, man, let the people know where they can find you at and what you got planned on the channel for the next couple of weeks.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you for having me on again, JT. Greatly appreciate it. Again, y'all can find me on all social media platforms. My work, Juan Gotti Talking Sports, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. We're on the road to 7,000 subscribers on YouTube and 500 followers on Instagram. So help me get there. It's totally free to subscribe. And the content I have coming out is obviously daily Washington Commanders videos, but also daily NFL videos. The next topics I'm going to try to cover is Chicago Bears, in my opinion, to move on from Justin Fields. I think the Houston Texans are a playoff potential lock, right? I have a whole ton of content coming up the pipe. Playoffs starting here soon. So much content coming up. on the channel. So I hope you guys give my channel a chance. If you're going to subscribe, it'll be greatly appreciated. And do my boy JT a favor, man, and rate the podcast 5 stars. Subscribe to the channel. He puts in a ton of work every single day. College student busting his tail, getting it done, man. So please help my guy, by subscribing, liking his channel and his page. You won't regret it.
I appreciate you for coming on. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Do what Juan Gotti say. Rate us 5 stars, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys